Okay, we're ready to go. If you want to go ahead and call the meeting to order, Bill.
Okay, it's 3:04 in the afternoon, August 31st, 2020. I'd like to call the meeting of the Clark County Regional Flood Control District to order, Citizens Advisory Committee, and turn it over to Steve.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for calling in. I'm going to start with some housekeeping items, as we've done in the last several meetings. As we go through the agenda, we request any committee members wishing to make a comment, ask a question, or make a motion that you say your name for the record. We will open the floor for questions after presenting each item. Also, after a motion is made and a vote is called for, each committee member will vote verbally. If the vote is unanimous, that will be noted. If there are any nay votes or abstentions, then a roll call vote will be completed to accurately identify the vote for the record. This meeting was properly posted and noticed in accordance with the Declaration of Emergency Directive 006 issued by Governor Sisolak on March 22nd, 2020, and subsequent directives extending this Directive 006 until the end of the Declaration of Emergency is issued. The directives suspend the requirement contained in NRS for a physical location to be provided for meetings of public bodies. Pursuant to this directive, a physical location has not been provided for this meeting. A live stream of the meeting is available at the website posted on the meeting notice. Also, we encourage participation from the public, so an email address, publiccomment@regionalflood.org, has been provided in the notice of public meeting. This email address will be monitored during the meeting should any member of the public wish to participate in the final comment period. Any comments received prior to or during the period or the meeting will be read into the record and will become a part of the permanent record. With that, we're going to start with a voice roll call so we can verify verbally the members that are present on the call. So if you could make sure all the members that you're not on mute, and if you could respond when you hear your name called. Chair Ron Newell. Vice Chair Bill Starmer.
Present.
James House.
Here.
Jeff Wodnapka.
Here.
Ed Euling.
Here.
Larry Schultz.
Present.
Herschel Desai.
Here.
Jim Giordano.
Here.
Brian Wilson.
Here.
Norm Ashford.
Present.
Karina Berrigan.
Present.
Thank you. So 10 members are present, therefore we do have a quorum. We'll begin with the agenda. Item 1 is comments by the general public. As noticed on the agenda posting, comments by the general public regarding items on this agenda were to be posted to public comment at regionalflood.org. Tammy, could you confirm if we had any public comments?
Mr. Vice Chair, Tammy McMahon, for the record, there are no public comments.
Thank you, Tammy. Item 2 is action to approve the agenda with deletion of any items. Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, the agenda is in order for approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, City of Las Vegas, moved to approve the minutes as written.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor for approval from Bill Starmer. Any comments or discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 3 is action to approve the minutes of the July 30, 2020 meeting. The minutes are in order for approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Ed Euling, Clark County.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor for approval from Ed Euling. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Item 4 is action to accept the financial reports. Mr. Vice Chair, the report is in for backup. I do have a slide for the sales tax. We did receive sales tax information for the month of June on last Friday. Again, there's a lot of numbers on this slide, so I'm going to focus your eyes on a few numbers that are pertinent. The first number is the June sales tax as we originally budgeted it in the FY20 budget. So this is pre-COVID number is $9.7 million. As a result of COVID, we revised that number downward by 18.1%, based on our information from our financial advisors to $7.9 million. The actual receipts were about $8.6 million. So that's 11.6% below what we originally budgeted pre-COVID, and about 8% above actually our revised estimate after COVID. So that's good news. For the year then, this is the last month of the year that we needed. So for the year, we originally budgeted $111.9 million pre-COVID. We reduced that down about 9% to $101.3 million. And then our actual receipts for the year were $106.2 million. So that's 4.4% below what we originally budgeted pre-COVID and 4.8% above the revised estimate of $101.3 million. So I guess the end result is that we feared the worst, but it turned out to be not quite as bad as we thought it would be, which is good news. We were able to transfer $3 million to the construction fund to make it available for funding of construction projects. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Staff would recommend you accept the financial report. Any discussion?
This is Larry Schultz, Clark County. So a couple of observations. First of all, to your financial advisors did an excellent job in planning and projecting. And additionally, it's also good news that the actual performance in the county wasn't as dire in terms of generating sales tax revenue as we had believed previously. So I think under the circumstances, these numbers look real good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And thank you for those comments. So we'll see. We still got to work through, most of the upcoming fiscal year, and we'll see how the numbers shake out. But it seems like we're in pretty good shape, assuming that we don't have, another closure or some other issue related to the virus. So hopefully we're working our way out of the woods.
Hey, Steve, this is Harshal Desai, City of Henderson. You have one question. Are you adjusting the numbers for the next or this fiscal year based on the numbers that we received in June or based on the actuals?
Are you saying the numbers for next fiscal year are we adjusting based on what we've seen so far this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of too late to change those because they're part of the budget that got approved back in April by our board. So they're kind of set, but we were not very conservative in terms of reducing the percentages of sales tax because we wanted to have our board to give us the authority to expend that money if the recovery was quicker than everyone thought. So we can meter the funding we provide to construction projects based on our monthly receipts, and we can do that very quickly. And so we kind of are using that as our, as a way to meter the money flowing out of the district based on our receipts. So we're leaving the budget the way it is for now, and we'll just see what happens over the next few months.
Thank you.
This is Ed Uline, Clark County. For example, what are you estimating it's going to be in July?
Hold on a
8.3 million.
And this month it was about that amount?
Yeah, this month was 8.6 million. Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other discussion? Entertain a motion?
This is Larry Schultz, Clark County. I make a motion to accept these reports as presented by staff.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor from Larry Schultz to accept the report. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 5 is action to adopt amendments to the 10-year construction program. Mr. Vice Chair, these are changes to the 10-year construction program for fiscal impacts that occur later in the agenda. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Jeff Listowka, Board of City. Approve.
Whoops.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor for approval from Jeff Listowka. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Item 6 is action to accept the final accounting report and close out the interlocal contracts for the following projects. Brent Drainage System, Floyd Lamb Park to Durango Construction, Muddy River Logandale Levee Design, and Cedar Avenue Channel Improvements Design. These closeouts return $221,058.40. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion?
Harsha Desai, City of Henderson. I would like to abstain from item 6 because of Cedar Avenue Channel improvements. We were the design consultants on that particular project.
Okay. Any other discussion? Entertain a motion.
This is Larry Schultz, Clark County. I make a motion to approve this item 6 as presented.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor for approval from Larry Schultz. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion's approved unanimously with 1 abstention. Item 7 is receive the maintenance work program 4th quarter fiscal year 2019-2020 status reports as submitted by the entities. Chair, the report is in your backup. Through the end of June, 6.8 million of the $13.9 million budget had been spent, which is about 56%. This is pretty much in line with where we're normally at in terms of spending this time of year. There is work that was done in June that hasn't, the bills for that work hasn't flowed through the district yet. So usually over the next 2 months, we'll see those bills come in and we'll get those finalized, and you'll see one more report in 2 or 3 months that shows the final spending amount of the budget. And with that, there's no action required on this item. It's just to receive a report, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. We'll move on to item number 8, which is receive a report on amendments to the Regional Flood Control District Policies and Procedures Annual 2020 Annual Review and Update. Mr. Vice Chair, this is an update we do every year to our policies and procedures. We review it and see if there's any changes that need to be made or anything we need to take a look at. This report is actually just a heads up to the committee members that if you have any concerns with the policies and procedures manual that you feel like we need to investigate, to let us know in writing by September 9th, 2020. and we will take a look at whatever comments you feel we need to take a look at. With that, there's no action required on this item as well. It's just to receive a report. But again, if you have any questions or comments, happy to answer those. Item 9 is action to approve and authorize additional funds for the Section 214 Memorandum of Agreement for expedited reviews of Section 408 permits from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Los Angeles District. Mr. Vice Chair, back in 2017, the district entered into a memorandum of agreement with the Corps of Engineers to allow for district funds to be paid to the Corps to expedite reviews of 408 permits. So a 408 permit is required anytime there's a proposal to do a major modification to a facility built as part of the Corps' Tropicana Flamingo Washes project. For those of you that have been on the committee for a while, you may remember a number of years ago that we entered into this agreement to help the developers of the Raiders Stadium to get that project permitted because there was a portion of the Tropicana outfall facility that went through the stadium parcel. Similar to that, downstream now, NDOT is proposing to reconstruct a portion of the I-15 interchange at Tropicana. That same box culvert, the Tropicana outfall facility, goes through that project, and they're going to need to remove and replace a portion of it to allow for freeway ramps to be constructed over the box culvert. So what we're doing is asking for this agenda item asks to increase funds for the expedited reviews by $125,000. There's a separate item on this agenda to enter into an agreement with NDOT for NDOT to reimburse the district for those funds for that expedited review. So staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, City of Vegas, I move that we approve item number 9 as submitted.
I think there's a motion on the floor for approval from Bill Starmer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 10 is action to approve an agreement with the Nevada Department of Transportation to reimburse the Regional Flood Control District for expedited review of Section 408 permit from U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Los Angeles District. So as I just mentioned in the previous item, the district's providing $125,000 in funding for that expedited reviews of 408 permits from the Corps. So this item requests approval of an agreement with NDOT to reimburse the district for those funds used to expedite the review of the Tropicana Detention Basin outfall modifications that are proposed with the I-15 interchange project at Tropicana. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Jim Giordano with the City of Henderson. I'll make a motion to approve the agreement.
Okay, I think I heard Jim Giordano made a motion to approve. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carries. Item 11 is action to approve a request to reallocate funding within the interlocal contract for construction for Rancho Road System, Elkhorn, Grand Canyon, Hualapai, City of Las Vegas. Mr. Vice Chair, this is a reallocation of funding. They're moving $20,000 from construction to construction management. This project has been built and they're just getting ready to close out the project. So they're getting the money lining up with the bills they have left to pay final invoices. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Jeff Listowka, Boulder City, move to approve item 11.
I think there's a motion on the floor to approve from Jeff Listowka. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. Item 12 is action to approve the interlocal contract for design for Las Vegas Wash Stewart, Las Vegas Wash to Lamb Blvd, City of Las Vegas. Mr. Vice Chair, this is a new design interlocal contract with the total value of $1,018,856. Staff, there are funds for this project. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion?
Harshal Desai, City of Henderson. I would like to abstain on this particular item. Thank you.
Thank you, Herschel. Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, City of Las Vegas. I move to approve item number 12 as presented.
Thank you. I have a motion on the floor for approval from Bill Starmer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. That motion carried unanimously with one abstention. Item 13 is Hollywood System, Centennial Parkway to Speedway number 2 detention basin, City of North Las Vegas. Item 13A is action to accept the project presentation. Mr. Vice Chair, we do have a presentation for this project. The county will be presenting. We do have Mr. Turhan Bey with Stantec to present. So Turhan, when you're ready, if you could go ahead and take yourself off mute and you can begin your presentation.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, like Steve said, thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Turhan Bey. I'm with Stantec Consulting, and I'm here to present the Hollywood System Centennial to Speedway number 2 detention basin project. It's located within City of North Las Vegas jurisdiction, and it's partnered with the Regional Flood Control District for funding. Next slide, please. I think you push it one more time. There you go. Thank you. Here's our project location, Speedway or Hollywood System Centennial to Speedway number 2 detention basin. It's located approximately half a mile north of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next slide, please. The 2018 Regional Flood Control District Master Plan identifies the facilities that are to be installed and modified for this project as RWHW0410, 0369, 0355, and 0300. The facility sizes are 78-inch and 84-inch RCP. The alignment length is approximately 5,149 feet. The peak 100-year flow is approximately 596 CFS, and the slopes along the alignment range from 1.36 to 2.10%. Next slide, please. Excuse me. Here you'll see our vicinity map here. So highlighted in blue on the left of your screen is going to be the Hollywood System. It's currently a retention basin, and we plan to modify this facility by lowering the access road and lowering the basin of the invert and installing an outlet structure to turn it into a detention facility. Then we propose 78-inch RCP moving to the south here. That pink highlighted portion is where we'll be crossing the I-15 via tunneling, and we expect no disturbance to the I-15 traffic in that area. And then moving further south to the pink is our alignment for 84-inch RCP. Next slide, please. Here's our typical cross-section A that's representative of the removal of the southern embankment and lowering of the roadway and lowering of the basin invert. As you can see, we'll be doing a low flow channel here and also repairing some of the side slopes on the walls as they're being deteriorated from current inflow situations. And our 100-year water surface elevation is approximately 2,082.15 feet. Next slide, please. Our typical cross-section B here is representative of portions of the alignment between Speedway number 2 detention basin and the I-15 crossing within the 50-foot drainage easement. Here you can see it's our facilities are 78-inch RCP, and the depths of cover pipe range from 10 to 13 feet along this corridor. Next slide, please. Here's our typical cross-section C, representative of us crossing the I-15. Here we'll be installing a 78-inch RCP. We'll be utilizing jack and board tunneling for approximately 363 length feet. Depths of cover here range from approximately 16 to 46 feet under the freeway. Next slide, please. Here's our typical cross-section D, which is representative of the Hollywood Boulevard portion of our alignment, south of Speedway Boulevard. As you can see, there we'll be installing a 84-inch RCP here, utilizing the Hollywood Boulevard public right-of-way, 100-foot right-of-way. And depths of cover here range from approximately 5 to 10 feet. And our alignment terminates into a 6x6 RCB within Centennial and Hollywood Boulevard. Next slide, please. Here's our project cost for design is approximately $1 million, $1,069,725. Our right-of-way is approximately $507,125. Environmental mitigation is $10,000. Construction would be $9.5 million. Our construction management is $665,000. Entity construction management labor cost is $190,000, which brings our total to $11,941,850. Next slide, please. Our right-of-way and permitting, we have already obtained our Clark County encroachment permit, and we have also obtained our NDOT permit. We have also completed our environmental documentation, and we anticipate no additional right-of-way to be required for this project. Next slide, please. Our construction schedule is as shown. Our bid award date is January 2021. Our notice to proceed date and construction start date will be in February 2021. We approximate construction duration to be 12 months. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to thank you guys for your time. Is there any questions for me on this subject?
Yes, this is Larry Schultz, Clark County. Thank you, Turhan, for a good presentation. I do have questions from a design standpoint. From your perspective and your team's perspective, do you see any unusual design elements and or design risks? And if so, what are the associated mitigation strategies associated with those?
I think for this project, what was something that we had to address was the retention basin and turning it into a detention facility there. There was a couple modifications that we have made and we have discussed thoroughly, with the design team and City of North Las Vegas and Regional Flood Control District to mitigate these risks. We've also talked to the State Board of Engineers with the damming, the dam portion division of them, and and so I think that was the only design aspect. I think also tunneling here will be we have a lot of cover, as you can see. So in that image that you guys are seeing on your screen is where the I-15 is kind of built up on that berm there, and so we do have a lot of cover in that area. So I'm not expecting any other design challenges, if that answered your question. Sorry.
So yeah, well, not fully, but going back to the issue of the conversion of the detention basin, you sort of alluded that there were some concerns, but you didn't say what they were. What are the 1, 2, or 3 top concerns there? And what were the related mitigations?
Okay, for sure. So what it was that retention facility. It was built, I believe, in the late 90s there, and some of the documentation there for the embankment or lowering of the roadways is what we're doing there. There's a auto auction property just to the south of that area, and that by lowering the embankment there or the roadway, we would not have to see if any above grade impounding of water, and that would prevent any catastrophic damages if that berm were to breach. Sorry, that's did that answer your question there?
Oh, okay. So it sounds like you've anticipated that as a possibility. And what were you doing exactly then? What is the design call for exactly to prevent that?
Oh, so our design calls for lowering that roadway. It's approximately 8 feet of a berm that we're going to be excavating out there and lowering down to match grades, and we won't be having any above grade storage in this facility.
I got you. Thank you.
Cool, no worries. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Jim Giordano. I had one real quick question. You stated that no additional right-of-way was needed for this project because it's all within public right-of-way, which is great. But then in the project costs, we had over $500,000 for right-of-ways. So I was just curious as to what that money was for.
Gotcha. So initially, when we had first started to look at this project, we had looked at multiple alignment alternatives going through this area here. I think some of that right-of-way cost could have been if we utilize going outside of that. If you go to typical section, I think it's B. We were utilizing that drainage easement there, that 50-foot drainage easement. It was a possibility instead of utilizing that drainage easement there to kind of follow the Hollywood Boulevard roadway alignment there. So that's, I think, some of the portion of where we were. As you can see our alignment there where that little B is, we would have followed the Hollywood alignment down and then utilized the tunnel under the freeway there. So that was just one of our alternative selections.
So it's not really costs that are expected to be spent, then it's just kind of a placeholder when you guys originally did the project cost?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that money, Jim, this is Steve, that money was included in the original design interlocal because there was a possibility that they would need to acquire some right of way. And as the design progressed, it was determined they didn't need to do that. And so any money left unspent in that item would just be returned at the closeout.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Good.
Gotcha. Thank you, Steve.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Turhan.
Thank you.
Staff would recommend you accept the project presentation item 15A. Any discussion, any further discussion? Entertain a motion.
Ed Euling, Clark County, motion to approve.
Good, there's a motion on the floor to accept the presentation from Ed Euling. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 13B is action to approve the interlocal contract for construction. This is an interlocal contract with a total value of $10,355,000 for construction management, and the labor costs. We do have sufficient funds for this project. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Jeff Listowka, Boulder City, move to approve item 13.
Jeff, there's a motion on the floor to approve item 13B from Jeff Listowka. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carries. Item 14 is comments by the general public. as noticed on the agenda posting, comments by the general public regarding any issue related to the Regional Flood Control District were to be posted to public comment at regionalflood.org. Tammy, if you could please verify if there are any public comments received.
Mr. Vice Chair, Tammy McMahon, for the record, there are no public comments.
Thank you, Tammy. And with that, we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. We certainly appreciate it. Maybe someday we'll meet face to face again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Talk to
Steve,
you
one-
next time. Thank you.
Steve, there,
Yeah.
quick question. There